Hi, it's your old buddy Brad here today, and I am going to be talking to you about how to use the light settings under the 3D rendering tab in JWildfire. So, again, I have an object, and I have a light source. So, with lights in JWildfire, they have work on a altitude and azimuth. So, what altitude is up and down, up and down. And the azimuth is back and forth, back and forth. So, and that they both work in 360 degrees. So I can either have the light coming straight in front of it, or I can even move the light around and have the light coming from behind it. And of course, if this ball had holes in it, you could see the light coming through from behind. So basically, you can move a light around in any direction around the objects that you want. So I'm going to shrink myself down here. Whee! And we go here to the 3D rendering tab, light settings. I just wanted to point out that I have ambient shadows enabled, hard shadows enabled on the default. I have material ambient set to 1. So here, just like in the materials, you can set as many light sources as you want. By default, there are 2 added. But you can always add and delete as many as you want. And here is the altitude I was talking about, and the azimuth. You can change the color of the light if you wish. You can make the light cast a shadow or not. For this, I'm going to have cast shadows on. The light intensity is how bright the light is. The shadow intensity is how dark the shadow it creates is. Personally, when doing 3D rendering, I like to set light intensity up to 1, and I also increase shadow intensity to 1. Again, that's just my personal preference, and I'm going to use that here in this example. One thing to remember when doing solid rendering is always do a quick render to see how things look. If you make a change and nothing happens, do a quick render and it will show up. Also important, if it doesn't show up in this main view here, you can always get a good idea in the thumbnail here of a small preview of what's going on. So right now these are the default settings. I'm going to set both to 0. So right now the light is coming straight on the object, or objects in this case. So as we see, let me do a quick render. That's another thing. Once you do a quick render and you move light sources, you should be able to see them change as you move the sliders. If you notice, there's little stars next to the settings, except the shadow intensity. What those little stars represent that you will not have to do a quick render each time you move one of these options. except here in shadow intensity. If you change this, you would have to do a quick render for it to show up. So going back to altitude, if you change that, remember altitude is going up and down. Change it up here some. Do a quick render. Now you see this side is bright, this side is darker. Move it up some here, make some changes. And again, like I said, so if we're at 0, it's in front. If we go to 180 degrees, it's lighting it from the back. Then we can also make changes here to the azimuth, which again is going left to right. Do a quick render. And here it's dark in the front, but you can see a little light coming from behind. So you can just change this around again. And so now the light is coming more from over here in this direction. And let me try to figure out, it's probably a little bit more up here actually. Or you can always just hit this button here, which randomizes the light settings, or the position of the lights. Like so. Okay, so that is about all I have to say about using the light settings in JWildfire. Until next time, talk to you later. Bye.